you getting in the Christmas spirit, Andrew?
We still got Thanksgiving to go to. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we're from Wisconsin, and it's gonna start snowing tomorrow, I guess.
It's tomorrow or Thursday, I thought.
I heard it was tomorrow.
Nah, that must get pushed up then. So right now, when I looked at the forecast for the week, it was like, oh, it was Thursday or maybe Wednesday night or something.
Yeah.
So I was just like, damn. Yeah, it's just how it'd be. Because of that, all the disc golf baskets had to go away. So, meh.
Sad.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't live like down south, and they just keep them out year round.
I mean, we got bowling to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we've been saying for weeks. I'm really looking forward to bowling.
We are. It's just, but we were like, well, we're gonna, use the disc golf baskets up until they put away.
Yeah. And when are they getting put back up?
It's like late March, early April, I think is what they said.
Fuck. I don't want to wait that long.
I know.
I mean, that's probably when it's going to stop snowing. So.
Yeah, that'll probably be when it clears up, so.
That's fun.
Yeah. Come back, be rusty as all hell, realize that, man, my distance is way down because, I haven't been throwing for, 4 months.
We've been rolling.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's just like, well, got to basically reteach yourself how to play.
Hey, we're all going to get an ace next year, though, because at that point, we'll have more time to practice and get used to all the baskets and stuff, and then we'll conquer the world. I don't know where it was going.
And then we'll be disc golf pros in no time flat. Right?
We'll have our own, Tony Hawk-like video game.
No, that's the Paul Macbeth disc golf video game that's apparently happening. I don't know if it's actually. I don't know if it's actually the Paul Macbeth one, but it's like I remember hearing something back on the disc golf subreddit that that someone is making a disc golf video game.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I don't know how the hell it's gonna play, but that's cool, I guess.
We can that way we can play it during the winter months.
Exactly,
right.
And go, oh yeah, this is how it was.
This is what I had.
This
and what
is
I can't
what
have
we're
right
missing
now.
out on. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of It Never Ends. I am Andrew. My good buddy over there is Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I was about to ask, do you want to do an intro this week?
I had to ramp myself up for it. Just like, there you
go. Had to hype yourself up.
Yep. Had to really fling myself. I know you can't. I know my camera isn't up when we do this thing, so you can't see my face or anything like that. But I just had to fling my face into my microphone as I did that. Anyway, so you're talking about how it's getting to the end of the year, and because it's getting to the end of the year, we got the Game Awards coming up because they just announced their nominees for it, and we're gonna go.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we'll kind of talk about it as we go forward. So. I'm just gonna go down the list as they appear here. So,
best esports team. Let's go.
Oh, you want to start from the bottom, huh?
Oh, I thought we would.
Yeah, I guess we could do that. That would be that's better anyway.
Work our way up to Game of the Year, not start with it.
Yeah, best esports game of the year, League of Legends. All right, moving on.
Best esports team.
Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit.
No,
all right,
okay.
Moving on. I'm skipping
best
all the esports
athlete.
and player and content creator. They're stupid. All those things are stupid.
Dota 2 could beat League of Legends this year.
That's a good meme. That's a good meme. Anyway, I don't know. Innovation and accessibility. I don't know. It's the Call of Duty Black Ops, Diablo 4, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Prince of Persia Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't played a single one of those games other than Diablo 4, and I'm surprised they're there, to be honest with you.
Innovation and accessibility. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think we can have a say in this.
Yeah, this is not one that I know or have really looked into, so we're just gonna kind of skip it. I'm actually going to skip most anticipated game for now.
Okay.
Best family game: Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Brothers. I always call it Super Mario Brothers Party Jamboree, but it's Super Mario Party Jamboree. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which is the one where you play as Zelda, and then the Plucky Squire. So we.
Not gonna lie, I kind of hope it goes to Plucky Squire.
I mean, that'd be really cool, but it's definitely gonna be Mario Party, right?
Really? I thought it was. I thought it was gonna be that or Astrobot.
I mean, I could see Astrobot, but it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Mario Party is kind of the favorite in there. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Astrobot, but it's like, Gotta be a Mario Party. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to do. Best VR AR game? Do I care? Not really.
Well, let's see what was nominated.
Arizona's Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Showdown, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening.
I mean, these are all cool games from what I hear. I just haven't played any of them.
I don't care for VR.
I mean, I think this shows that VR is coming along, though. If we're getting big franchises Batman Arkham, getting Metro Awakening, I hear, Arizona Sunshine is super good, and Metal Hellsinger is Metal Hellsinger.
I don't even know what that game is.
Metal Hellsinger?
No, the Arizona Sunshine.
Oh, it's like a zombie game type thing.
Oh,
it's whatever. I mean, the two big ones, obviously, are Batman Arkham and Metro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, I care too much about VR. I do think this does show, if anything, the format is becoming more normalized as time is going on. It's not, super popular. There's not a ton of people adopting it every day. I'm sure these companies, especially Sony, would like people to, but... it's still in there. It hasn't gone away quite yet.
Yeah. I do wonder at some point if the VR, craze will kind of go away / is this kind of the 3DS of current gaming where it was the idea of 3D gaming was cool at the time because everything back then was 3D is cool.
Probably, but
I don't know. Maybe.
In a way, I think we've kind of outgrown the point where it's no longer a novelty and it's slowly made its way into the mainstream.
That's fair.
It's normal enough to the point where some gamers might be interested in it, whereas others can just very easily ignore it. It's a very unique niche that I see VR in.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Moving forward, though. Best mobile game, AFK Journey, Balatro, the Pokemon trading card game Pocket, The Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. I mean, Pokemon, right?
I mean, I'm guessing so. That's the one that Ghost has been all about, right?
I mean, I feel like that's what everyone's been about, and I'm just it's so... I don't know. As a person who plays card games and likes having physical... I'll never understand it. It's I get that...
I don't get it either.
On being able to play, card games online, I guess, is appealing. There's a reason why, Magic finally made the MTG Arena and stuff like that. So on and so forth. And it's Pokemon doesn't really have a good outlet for playing online, really. But then again, who plays the Pokemon card game?
Yeah.
Of the percentage of people who either buy Pokemon cards or play the Pokemon trading card thing, whatever, actually play the game. I'd be curious in what's the percentage. I don't know. That's what I always thought.
I mean, for Pokemon, it's pretty low. People just kind of want the pretty cards.
Exactly. That's why I say they're going just it's just a thing to open a card pack per day, I guess. But
yeah. Now I want to make sure. So Zenless Zone Zero. Yep. Okay. So it's gonna go to Zenless Zone Zero. I'm very confident in that actually.
I don't even know what this is. What that is.
New game by the Genshin Impact people.
Oh, it's that.
It's a gacha game, extremely popular.
But are we really gonna say it's winning over Pokemon?
Yes, I'm placing my bets completely on that. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there was one year where Genshin Impact beat Pokemon Go, didn't it?
Did it? I don't know.
I know that people are fucking nutso over Genshin Impact, and I have heard like some like.
I thought Genshin fell off hard after they decided that we're going to make a bunch of other ones.
No, they're still going very strong.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that the community that they already have isn't still excited about it and they still update it, but like I feel like it's definitely not as
huge as it used to be when it was like new. That's out. That's true, but that's what Zenless Zone Zero is there for.
It's true. Well, man, yeah, it's wild.
I don't know. I'm just shooting from the gut here, but because like I know of how crazy like big Genshin was, that's where I'm placing my bets. It may and it probably will still go to a Pokemon trading card game, but I think it's a good competitor at least.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, let's be fair. I think all of these are likely, microtransaction ridden trash like most mobile games are. But
it's like the only one that probably isn't is Blotro, which is nominated for best mobile game, best indie game, and game of the year. Spoilers, if you haven't already looked, I guess. But like, I just find it funny.
Yeah.
Next up, we got best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. I'm gonna tell you right now, Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3?
I would. It's either that or Final Fantasy 14 at that point. Like it's between one of those two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was like, there's still a huge community over the Baldur's Gate. And it's like, obviously, Final Fantasy 14 isn't slowing down either. Mm-hmm. So it's just like...
I mean, none of these games are. I know that some of the changes they've made to Helldivers, people haven't been super crazy about, so...
Yeah, I feel like Helldivers, ever since like that whole like controversy with like Sony requiring PSN login or whatever, I feel like fell off in popularity. Like it lost a good amount of people, and that's unfortunate.
So I'm also gonna give it to Baldur's Gate 3.
I don't know. It's just like everything I hear from that game. It's just like it's literally like the fans like kept it. Has always kind of kept it in the zeitgeist or whatever. So it's just like that alone tells me right there that it has like a community that absolutely adores the game.
Which is crazy because isn't it just like a straightforward like single player story game? Yeah, it doesn't have like any online in one.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't have any online. It's just like it's like you can play it like co-op or whatever, but that's like it. I think you can play like up to 4 people co-op or something.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean when the story is just that good or whatever, and like the different, like what is it like the different branching things or whatever. It's like didn't I hear recently that there's still like some dialogues options that nobody has heard yet?
I mean, I can believe it. The game is huge and it gives you so many options.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's still a thing, but it also wouldn't. I was like, if they found that or what, by now, it's like it would make sense.
Yeah.
And then next up we have best ongoing game with Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. Very similar to best community support. Real fast, can we call Destiny 2 best ongoing game when they don't really put out a whole lot anymore?
Yeah, no, the game's basically dead. So
it's like they put out little chapters or whatever for what little story it has left basically, but it's like I don't think Bungie has talked about doing anything like to the game.
let's just pretend that it isn't there because but I'm just saying that because they have said they're not going to make any more big chapters. You know, like the last big thing that game ever was going to do is already out.
Yeah.
And now they're all in on Marathon, which is probably going to fail, and that studio is going to probably shut down. But we don't need to talk about that.
Nah.
Oh man, why isn't Concord here? for that 2 weeks that
the
it was
best
up,
ongoing game for 2 weeks.
Oh man, that would be a meme if they didn't shut that game down and they shut it down right after it got nominated for best ongoing.
No, the best meme, the best meme would be they would have an award for biggest flop of the year, Concord, and that was the only nomination. Oh man.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably Final Fantasy 14. I'd have to think out of these, but then again, Fortnite is fucking massive.
Really?
So.
Really, I was gonna give it to Diablo. Didn't they have some really good updates this year?
For Diablo's and the Blizzard games or whatever is one of those things where it's just like you love to hate them basically, because you either go onto the subreddit and you go. You go on the subreddit and you just go, everyone fucking hates it or whatever, but like it's really not that bad, but everyone fucking hates it.
That's every game that ever existed, though. You know, it's basically a meme at this point where like all Smash players hate Smash Brothers, all Dead by Daylight players hate Dead by Daylight, but they keep coming back to it. Doesn't basically all of the Overwatch community hate the game that they play?
I mean, yeah, but they're stuck in a toxic relationship and they just don't realize it yet.
That's yes. I feel like that's just every game, though. You know, that's Overwatch. That's
there's some that are more toxic than others.
I mean, it's my relationship right now with Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Everybody loves 2v8 except me. I can't stand that thing. I'm not. We're so Diablo. Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure, but like,
I don't know. So what does Fortnite really do aside from like whenever there's a new season, they add like new skins or whatever. They add like a new game mechanic that everybody complains about for like
the Fortnite Classic though. Go back to the classic Fortnite of 2019.
Classic Fortnite wasn't good.
What are you talking about? Everyone loved classic Fortnite. It was the thing that put them on the map.
And I don't understand. I played classic Fortnite. I played Fortnite like a month after it came out, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you need to play. It's the hottest shit." I played 3 games. It took over 4 hours, and it was the most boring fucking thing on the planet.
You just don't understand, man. You just don't get it.
Apparently not.
You old man.
Sure, Final Fantasy 14. I honestly didn't know that Final Fantasy 14 was still kicking with new updates and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I hear about it every so often, just because a lot of my feed is like, oh, Final Fantasy stuff, so it's like, I don't really care about 14, but I still see that there's a lot of stuff happening.
It's fun.
So there's that. I don't know, I guess Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite. I don't know. I guess any of those games, would probably work.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone's favorite best fighting game: the Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, Arcade Classic, the Multiverses, and Tekken 8. I'm sorry, didn't Multiverse win this back in 2022, and then shut down?
So. But then they released it again.
Yeah, so this is a different
Powerpuff
game, right?
Girls are in the game now. I mean, it's the exact same thing, but it's riddled with more microtransactions, from what I hear.
Yeah, so
like
we're saying, oh, this is a whole new game, so clearly it deserves to be on the best fighting game because the best fighting games apparently was very weak this year.
Yeah, you know it's fucking weird too. So it's free to play now, but like every character costs like $8 or some ridiculous bullshit.
They're doing what League of Legends does, where it's like they release new characters and then they have like a rotating set of heroes that are free to play for a week. Basically, and then after that week is over, they rotate another set of them unless you buy them with the in-game currency or real money.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real shitty for a fighting game.
Yeah, there's a reason why League has kind of tried to not do that or whatever. Looking at like when they're with their partnership with like Xbox Game Pass or whatever, where if you just have Game Pass, you have access to all the heroes, so you don't have to worry about unlocking them with in-game currency or whatever.
Oh, cool. So multiverses just do that. I mean, here's the fucking thing, right? Obviously, the most popular one is going to be Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I think didn't everybody get like super hyped for the Marvel vs. Capcom collection too, though?
Yeah, kind of. I didn't hear jack shit about it. I heard more about Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero. But then again, I guess it's because our friend group likes Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be objective here. If we're talking about like which one we think is going to win, I think it's going to be one of those two.
Probably.
I think it's most likely going to go to Dragon Ball, though.
I can't wait for Multiverses to win it again, and then shut down again, and then come back in 2 years and win it again.
I will be so pissed off. That is the one that I don't want to win.
Yeah, it's probably the one I don't want to win either.
I mean, I'd be cool with Tekken 8 winning. I heard that game was really good, too.
Yeah, honestly, I really wouldn't care. I was like, I don't think Grand Blue Fantasy is popular enough to win. I think they just thought it was a fighting game, so they were like, let's just throw it on there for a nomination just because. Because we don't really know what other fighting games we can throw here.
I mean, that being said, too, I can't wait for Jeff to just, blow off like half these awards and none of them get a speech.
Oh, yeah.
That do get a speech.
That was what I was that was what I was going to say at the end. I'm like, okay, so which of these ones will just be brushed aside or whatever after we were done?
Okay, well, we can talk about that later. Let's just keep going down the list.
Yeah. Next up is the best multiplayer game, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2.
Okay, cool. It's going to go to Call of Duty, next one.
Yep, absolutely. It's not even a question. Best sports and racing game, F1 24, EA Sports.
I mean, come on, So I do legit think I'm glad at least Call of Duty is good this year. I heard the game was good.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy. And I kind of wish it was going to go to Warhammer, but it's not. Like I said, it's best sports racing game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, ain't good. What was that? EA Sports FC 25.
FC 25.
NBA 2K25, which is garbage. Top Spin 2K25 and WWE 2K24, which interesting. I like how two of these games are for 25. Three of these games are 25s, and then there's F1 24 and WWE 2024. What year are we? I don't know. All these games fucking suck. A lot of the thing you realize with sports games is that they all just suck ass or whatever. So the F1's probably going to win it because they actually give a shit. Where's Backyard Baseball? Are you telling me that Backyard Baseball 97 isn't on here? What the fuck?
You know what? I kind of wish that was on here because that would win and that would be so fucking funny.
But it's just a port.
Shit.
How could you compare to all these other ones? Because
these are trash and that one's good.
Because it's fun.
Anyway, Nintendo released another Super Mario Sluggers or whatever next year, so we can just give the award to that.
Do you know? I really hope next year, because apparently, the studio that's behind the Backyard Sports games or whatever, is just going all in now. Like they saw they brought back 97. Everyone was super interested. Sold really well for it basically just being a port or whatever. And they were just like, we're gonna do multiple games, all the different games or whatever. We're gonna do new games as well as the old remasters. We're also thinking about doing a television show. Huh? Okay.
Actually doing a television show.
I mean, yeah, sure. You go for it. Whatever. I don't. As long as it keeps Backyard Sports in the zeitgeist, I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was funny. I'm just like, man, where's Backyard Baseball 97? Come on. You're telling me these are the best ones? Come on. All right, anyway. Best strategy game. Age of Mythology Retold. Frostpunk 2. What the hell is that one? Path of the Godless? I don't even want to try.
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
There you go.
The Manor Lords and the Unicorn Overlord.
Which my brother totally forgot came out this year because he really enjoyed Unicorn Overlord.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to give it to either Age of Mythology or Frostpunk.
I mean, he liked it. I don't know if it's better than either of those two, but...
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't played any of these.
I haven't played the sequel to Frostpunk. I really enjoyed the first one. I'm just kind of guessing it's as good.
Probably.
Then Age of Mythology Retold, I heard, was actually very quality too. But I hate games like this, so I can't.
Is it because that's like the.
That's the it's the Age of Empires people.
Yeah, I don't like those types of games either, so I just tend to avoid them.
I mean, that's basically all these games are.
Yeah.
The only reason I played Frostpunk is because, well, A, I got it for free, and B, it had a really cool premise.
Yeah, it's fair.
I heard Manor Lords was okay, but it's like I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
Going to Frostpunk next. Okay, what do we got next?
All right, next is Best Action Game in Black Myth Wukong, Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Warhammer 40k, and Stellar Blade. Probably going to Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, man, I was kind of hoping it'd go to Warhammer 40k. That game was so good.
Yeah, I can already hear all the Warhammer people complaining about when they lose or when they win on it. Well, they won't be complaining if they win, but
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be one of those two. It's like you said, it's probably going to be Black Myth Wukong though.
It's either going to be that or Call of Duty, probably.
Oh, man, I kind of don't want it to go to Call. At least in this category, I don't want it to go to Call of Duty.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for a shooter like a first-person shooter game to, in my opinion, to be called an action game. Like I know it is, but in my mind, action is something that's more than just like point, click, and shoot type thing. Mm-hmm. Difference of opinion, I guess, but like it is, but doesn't mean I like it in that way. Anyway, best action / adventure game. Astrobot, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Man, making Silent Hill 2 an action adventure game
is a move.
The choice.
I thought same thing.
I think it's probably the best out of all these games, but I don't want it to win because that's not what it is. It's a horror. It's a survival horror game.
Yeah, that's why I was like, action adventure, Silent Hill. Interesting. That's not what I would list it as.
No.
Yo, real fast though, why don't they have like a best horror game? Like
I don't know. Especially now that enough horror games come out every year where they can do that.
Yeah, there really should be.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd make more sense than best action and best action adventure categories.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference between best action and best action adventure? Oh, well, one's got like a story where you go on an adventure, where one's just like actiony, and I go, well, that's why you have best action / art adventure game type thing.
Yeah.
It's like then you do the same. Stupid. Also, how are we saying that Black Myth Wukong isn't an adventure game at that point then? Like, isn't
I don't know, dude.
What are these categories? I don't know. I give up.
So what are you thinking for this one?
Astrobot.
Astrobot?
I don't know, either that or Star Wars Outlaws probably. Well, I guess Silent Hill is probably up there too. Probably one of those three, honestly.
I don't know. In my opinion, it can go to any of these. It's not like the other categories where I can just boil it down to one or two. I think these all have a good chance, aside from maybe like Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I don't know.
On to best role-playing game with Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio.
This is another really hard one.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just exclude Shadow of the Erdtree because no.
Yeah. we'll get to it, I guess, in a little bit here. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. You're either in one of two camps that you're like, oh yeah, this absolutely deserves to be here, or you're just like, why the fuck is this here? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Yeah, this is a toughie, I guess. I don't know. Part of me really wants to give it to Metaphor just because Atlas never gets any fucking respect when it comes to the Game Awards.
I mean, I definitely feel like that's.
But they're up against some stiff. They're up against some stiff competition.
It is a hard one for this year because I heard Rebirth was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
I also heard that Infinite Wealth was fantastic.
I mean, all the like the Dragon games are always good.
And I heard Dragon's Dogma 2 is also really good. So it's like,
despite the controversy of putting like fast travel behind paid DLC.
Yeah, that was really bad. That's why I think it.
It's why I will have a vendetta against that game, despite it probably being a good game. So yeah, it's a tough one. Honestly, any of these really could take it.
Yeah.
I don't really know if I can. I was like, I'll be rooting for either Rebirth or Fantasio probably.
I'm in the same boat, yeah.
But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying something?
No. We just kind of went at the same time.
Oh. On to the next one, which is probably my most favorite of all the ones where it's Games for Impact. The closer the distance. What is that? Indica?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. But I hope I said that correctly in everything because it sounded bad. Neva, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Hellblade 2, and Tales of Zinzera Zao. That's better.
Tales of Zinzera Zao.
Yeah. God,
out of these 6 games, I actually played 5 of them.
Wow.
So I'm excited to talk about this one.
Oh, nice. I haven't played any of them. I want to play Neva. I bought it a while ago. I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah.
So.
That being said, that one's probably going to win. I'm just putting that out there.
That'd be really cool. I was like...
I think it's going to be between that one and... I don't know, probably Life is Strange, but that's just because that one's the most popular.
I also didn't realize that a Life is Strange game came out this year.
It did. And in my opinion, I think it's the best one since the original.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Double Exposure is actually really, really fantastic.
All right.
Tales of Zinzera Zao. It's hard because I was kind of meh on the actual game, but I really like the people behind it, so...
Oh, that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this game then.
Hellblade is... I mean, it was another Hellblade game that came out this year.
Yeah.
It's, good game. I'm not sure if it deserves to win over the rest of these. And I'm going to quick look at Indica because I know nothing about that game.
Neither do I.
All right.
Definitely not what I was expecting when I, looked that up. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be rooting for Neva probably to win that, just because.
Yeah.
I loved Gris, and I was like, I'm super excited to play Neva.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm gonna hope for. All right, so we got best debut indie game. Up next, we got Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire.
This is another hard one.
That is a tough one. All these are very good.
They are.
I know part of me really wants Plucky Squire to win, but also it'd be really funny for Animal Well to win because then it's just like, man, the first game that Big Mode publishes and it wins best debut indie game. It's a pretty good start.
My 2 big ones are Plucky Squire and Animal Well. I also thought Pacific Drive was really rad, but not as good as those 2 probably. I'll be honest. Even if Balatro is a really good game, I'll be a little disappointed if that one wins best debut indie game.
It's always funny. I was like, man, for as big as that game is, and for all like the internet to have gone ablaze with it, because it's basically just like, oh, if poker was a roguelike game, neither one of us really care for it.
Yeah,
I think it's fine. I played it.
It's just
I think
none
I played
of our things.
I think I played it like one time. I was like, I mean, I guess I see the appeal, but I'm like, I'm good. Type thing. And I usually love roguelikes, but I just couldn't get into that one. So. Sure. Honestly, any of them would be great.
Yeah. Indie games just rule.
Indie games are awesome. That's all I have to say. Speaking of indie games, we got Best Indie Game up next, which is Animal Well, Blow Outro, what is it, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes? Neva and UFO 50.
I'm going to look up Lorelei because that just sounds rad as fuck. I've never heard of that, but that is such a cool title.
That is an interesting name that I've never heard of this prior to that.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. What the fuck?
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
I don't either. I kind of like it, though.
I mean, it's different. I'll say that. I just don't know what I'm looking at.
Wait a minute. Is it the same person? No. Okay. Different developers. Okay. I mean, so...
It looks like kind of like a puzzle game? What am I even looking at? I still don't even know what I'm looking at.
I'm kind of in the same boat with this one. So I think it's, like we both said, it's probably going to go to either Balatro or... I mean, if it went to Animal Well, that'd be cool, but I think it's the big one. It's going to be between Balatro and Neva, I think, which I really want to go to Neva.
I mean, it's always my thought process of like, oh, Balatro's being named for Game of the Year, so it's like, then it's also under Best Indie Game of the Year. I'm like, well, it's probably going to win Best Indie Game of the Year.
And then it's just going to get skipped for Best Game of the Year.
Yeah, probably. So that's why and like, look, I'm not saying indie games can't win Game of the Year. It's like some absolutely deserve to win it over the year. But it's like,
what?
But it's like when you look at it, it's like, do we really think that it's going to win Game of the Year?
No, I think if Hades can't win Game of the Year, then fucking Balatro isn't.
I honestly think that was the best chance for an indie game to win Game of the Year was the Hades year. Maybe Hades 2 will just be that good and then it will win, but like, man,
we can only hope.
I just feel like for an indie game to win, it's gonna like the AAA games that came out that year just had to have been such ass. That's why like. That year was the perfect storm for it to have happened, but it didn't.
And we just had such a stacked year this year with so many good games.
Yeah. All right, we have then after that is best performance, and I hate that how they put the names of the voice actors and actresses, but they don't tell you what the role they are for the games they are in. So we have Brianna White, which I know is the voice actress for Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hannah I apologize if I fuck up any of these names. Hannah Telle?
Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
Hannah Telle, Humberly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens from Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
I just wish they kind of like told us, what role they played. I'm pretty sure like these are pretty much just the leads, but like it'd be helpful to know what characters they were.
I mean, I think it'd be cool if it went to either Hannah Telle or Melina Jurgens.
Yeah, I hear that like Aerith had a really
I mean,
big
all these
role,
are probably
big role in the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so I think a lot of people are rooting for her to win it.
Yeah,
they're all really good though.
They're all good.
Best adaptation, Arcane Season 2, probably gonna win. It doesn't even matter. Do we even need to go through the rest? We will. Fallout, Knuckles, like a Dragon, Yakuza, which I actually heard was not very good.
No.
Tomb Raider and the Legend of Lara Croft, which I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I've heard a lot about that, and opinions are pretty split down the political line. Weirdly enough, we're not going to get into that. We did enough that last week, but I've heard good things. Like a Dragon Yakuza, I heard is trash.
Like I heard it wasn't good at all.
Knuckles, I hear is okay. Fallout, I heard is actually really good.
Yeah, but I also hear Arcane Season 2 is also really good, and it's League of Legends, so it's probably going to win regardless.
I was going to say probably, like, Arcane is... I've heard nothing but amazing things about Arcane Season 2. I loved Season 1. I just fucking refused to pay for Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely going to Arcane. Like...
Yeah, I haven't watched Season 2. I want to watch Season 2, but, like, I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm like you, where I don't want to give Netflix money. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I guess Fallout would probably be the next closest one.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to take a guess, it's probably the one that most people would know or recognize.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, hey, nothing wrong with second place.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Next, we got Best Audio Design with Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hellblade, and Silent Hill 2.
So this is the one award I think Silent Hill 2 is going to win. Absolutely.
I mean, I always give like horror games the edge when it comes to audio design because it's such an integral part to horror games in general.
And they really, really knocked it out of the ballpark with this newest one.
Yeah, but I could see everyone going, but Call of Duty has such realistic gun sounds.
That's another one, actually.
Yeah, honestly, those are probably the two front runners. So
I think Senua's Saga has good audio design, but I think it's just best in the visuals department.
Yeah,
is that game's strongest aspect.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what they tried to go for too.
Mm-hmm.
We got Best Score in Music with Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. Where the fuck is my Persona 3 Reloaded?
So can I just put this out there? Why is Stellar Blade there?
I don't know.
I heard that game was like okay at best. I have not heard phenomenally good things about Stellar Blade. The few things I have seen are people simping over the main character.
I mean, yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, if that's all that game has, then why is it here?
I don't know. It's like Best Score in Music. I'm like, really? And it's like
you don't get brownie points for being Gooner Fuel. Fuck me. Anyway.
But I'm sitting here going just like, again, this is where my whole thing is that Atlas and the Persona series do not get enough credit for like the music that they put.
Persona 3 should win, let alone be nominated.
Hands down, they should win because just the songs, like the new songs that they had, like Full Moon, Full Life or whatever, like Paloma Mall or whatever, like even like episode I guess stuff with Disconnected, it's going down now. I'm sitting here going just like some of these are the best I've ever heard them be in this series.
And I don't fucking buy people that are like, well, it's a remake or a remaster or whatever. Silent Hill 2
then why is Shadow of the Archery here? Why is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth here?
Why is Silent Hill 2 here?
Right. These are all remakes.
It totally counts, and it should be here.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
It's bullshit.
So that's the winner in our hearts.
Oh, absolutely.
What do we think is going to win?
I hope it's Metaphor, because I just want Atlas to win something when it comes to their...
Oh, yeah.
Like, Atlas put so much effort, so much work into, like, all the soundtracks for all of their games. Like, visuals, soundtracks that are, like, some of the best out of everything or whatever. When every other AAA game is so bland with, like, their menu and, like, music most of the time, it's like Atlas just goes above and beyond to make it memorable and exciting. That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean,
yeah,
it's like, in reality, it's probably going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is going to not really piss me off, but I'm just going to be a little disappointed. Mm-hmm. It's like, at least it's not just like when the remake won it, it was like, people, it was the same songs we had heard from the original 7. Or whatever, like at least there was like new songs or whatever with this, and like in original stuff with it. And so it's like, okay, I guess I'll be okay with it. But it's like, oh, really? For as much as like there are some games that just put in so much effort when it comes to like the songs or whatever. Not saying that Rebirth hadn't, and Square hadn't put a lot into it or anything like that. I just feel like some games did so much more and worked out so much better and are so much more memorable. But it's like I was talking to my brother. It's like it seems like always the best score and music winner comes down to what's the most memorable song of a soundtrack, and it's going to be the one that Aerith sings in Rebirth, and it's just like yeah, No Promise to Keep is really good. I listen to it a lot as well, but it's like, come on, there's a whole soundtrack we have to take into account, not just one song. If we want to nominate one song, that's fine. Do it in a whole different thing. But when you're talking the entirety of the soundtrack and everything that it stands for and what it's going for, Persona 3 Reloaded, Metaphor, or SMT5 Vengeance, because that game came out this year and it's amazing. Another one that was not on the action adventure one as well that should have been there, or strategy.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, just saying. All right, moving on, though. Best art direction with Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Neva. And again, I'm going to go back to Metaphor ReFantazio because goddamn are the visuals on that so fucking good. But then again, Neva has such a great art design that I love so much. So they're my two front runners, but I know they're not going to fucking win it. And Shadow of the Earth Tree is going to win it again.
If either of these, if Neva or Metaphor ReFantazio don't win this, I am going to want to fucking fight people. Ugh. If it goes to Black Myth Wukong or Astrobot, I'm also going to be super pissed.
No, it's going to be that Elden Ring is going to win Best Art Direction and Game of the Year, so that way they can win. They can have 2 awards for the same thing or for the same game.
So fucking dumb. Again, we'll discuss it after we've gone through all the fucking nominees, but that shouldn't be here, man. It shouldn't.
It really just shouldn't be here. But yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, I'm rooting for either Metaphor or Neva. They both either one of them deserve it.
I will say I'm really happy that Metaphor ReFantazio got
I'm so glad they actually got the nominations that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd be having a much different discussion if it wasn't nominated for like almost anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, man, you really just snub out Atlas again. It's like, obviously there are a lot of ones that kind of get snubbed out because of like the popularity that they do or don't have. But like, I don't know. It's just like ever since Persona 5, it's like everyone's been, jumping on, Atlas. And Atlas has been doing a lot of really good games. So it's just like, can we get some recognition here? I don't know. All right. Best narrative, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2.
It's going to go to Final Fantasy, and I hate that. Like, not to slight that game, but can it not go to Metaphor ReFantazio or Silent Hill or Hellblade? I like Final Fantasy VII too, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I think if I had played the game or whatever, then I think I would have feel a little differently. But yeah, I'm kind of with you though. I don't know. I always hate when either
I'm
a game or
that
two.
You still haven't played Rebirth yet.
I don't have the fucking time right now. It's just like, what was I gonna say? I don't know. It's just part of me that just goes. I really hate when it's just like 1 or 2 games just sweep the entirety of the awards. It's just like it gets a little annoying after a while.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like it doesn't deserve it. It's just that it gets annoying. Yeah, I'm kind of with you though. It's probably just gonna be Rebirth.
Yeah, if I were to guess.
Yeah. All right, and then we have best game direction, which is Astrobot, Balautro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm gonna be honest with you, Balautro should win this one because it takes the game in such a different. It takes it's like we said, it's like it takes poker and twists it on its own way, and it's so interesting that it's gotten a ton of people to play it and everything like that, and probably to be exposed to a type of game that they've never played before.
Judging by what their definition of best game direction is, I would also give it to Balatro, absolutely.
But I know it absolutely will go to Shadow of the Erdtree. Or Astrobot.
Why Astrobot?
I don't know.
That game doesn't do
Astrobot's got to win
anything.
something, probably.
But that game doesn't do anything interesting.
Like, what is the game direction fucking award anyway? I know what it has listed on their website, but in reality, it doesn't. They don't take that into account from what I can tell over the past few years.
I think we bring this up like every time we talk about the Game Awards.
Every time.
Like, if this really is supposed to be like creative vision and innovation, what are like half of these games doing here? One of them is a DLC.
Yeah. One of them is the DLC of a game that already exists, which is it's just like Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring. Cool. We already know what Elden Ring does. Astrobot. It's literally just like a walk around to see a bunch of Easter eggs, stuff like that.
And it's a 3D Mario game.
Yeah, it's 3D Mario game. Wukong is the same thing. It's a
boss rush game, and it's another Souls type game.
Yeah.
How many have we gotten? How many of those have we gotten in the last couple years?
A lot. And then it's just like, and then Rebirth. It's like, oh, it's action adventure or whatever game or whatever. But like, it's like Final Fantasy 16 honestly probably did it better when it comes to like action RPG and of a little bit. And it's like, yeah, they added some cool mechanics to Rebirth that they didn't have in the original Rebirth or the original 7 or whatever. But it's just like, in essence, it still feels like the same game. It's like Metaphor is probably the next closest one to being on top or whatever, because I put Balatro and then I put Metaphor ReFantasia because it takes...
Aside from those two, what are the rest of these doing there, though? That just annoys me so much.
It's a popularity contest.
I fucking hate the Game Awards.
Yeah, it's starting to get annoying.
Fucking Game Awards are bullshit.
So it's just like if you want to have like, it's just like you really need to just discern what you mean by game direction at that point. It's like, do you mean what game do you think did the best, or when it comes to what they tried to do, or what is the most innovative, which is what you have on your website, which in that case would be either Balatro or Metaphor ReFantasia, because it takes the Atlas's like kind of gameplay style they have and then twists it a little bit. It adds like a bit of an action as well as a different way to unlock classes and build your characters in and of a nutshell that is different from every other Atlas game we had seen prior to it. So yeah, I put those two on top. Will they win it? Probably not, but be really cool if they did. I don't even have to read the Game of the Year as well, because it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I really do feel like they just treat like best game direction as like the second place award for Game of the Year.
It really does, and that's what's really upsetting. I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah, it's literally the same nominations: Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasia. Exact same, copy pasted.
So let's just pretend like Shadow of the Erdtree isn't gonna win. It probably
even though we all
will.
know it probably will.
So, what do you think is a good second place contender? We both want it to go to Metaphor ReFantasia, and that's probably what it should go to.
It'll either be Black Myth Wukong or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's going to be one of those two. If it's not Erdtree, it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't tell me that Astrobot is the best game of the year. I refuse to believe that. I don't doubt it's a good game or whatever, or at least a fun game. But to call it the best game of the year when you had this stacked of a lineup is absurd to me.
Yeah, it's not going to win.
It's the same thing with Balatro. It's like, it's a great indie game. We'll win indie game of the year most likely. To call it game of the year, I don't know about that. It's like Metaphor. It's like, as much as I would want that to win it, it's probably not going to, because again, no one likes the kind of like 100+ hour game that of that kind, basically. So it's either going to go. It's either going to go to the one of the two that are really popular with Black Myth Wukong or Shadow of the Erdtree.
I think Final Fantasy has a decent.
They have a
chance
shot, but I still think I put the other two over them.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess if it pulls out a win, sure, I'll be ecstatic. But I feel like the third game is probably just gonna, whenever that's coming out, will probably, because it'll be like the big conclusion of it all, and that's what people will be excited for.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But as we've been like alluding to for a long time, it's just like, why the fuck is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree here? It's nominated for so many things. It's like Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Art Direction. And if you remember back in 2022 when the game first came out, it won Game of the Year and it won Best Art Direction because God of War Ragnarok swept pretty much everything else at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't not wait for it to win the same two things and maybe Best Game Direction, because what does that even mean anymore? And then it goes, wow, why did we let a DLC win everything, even though it's clearly wasn't, it maybe shouldn't have been here. It's like they really should just make another thing for these big DLCs or whatever and just call it Best DLC of the Year type thing, or throw it into ongoing Game of the Year, even though
I mean, that's definitely what I think too. They should have just made it like a best like DLC or best expansion category. That's something that I think they should have been doing for like the past couple of years. But
years.
To have the Shadow of the Erdtree here, especially when compared to like other remakes, like obviously like it's just an expansion to a game that already came out. Like, I get the arguments that some people have, like, oh, it's, just, it's a huge DLC. It's almost, like, makes the game twice as big. It's, like, so long. And like
cool. They make that sound like that's the first thing, that's the first game that's ever done that. I'm like, there have been a lot of games that have big DLCs that change the core mechanics of games or something like that, or that is completely just, like, make the game different, or whatever, or double the size of the game.
Liberty.
You see that all the time. Like, but they've never been nominated for Game of the Year. It's just because this is becoming a popularity contest, because Elden Ring is one of the most popular games on the fucking internet. It's just what it is.
It is what it is. It's just so irritating to me. In a year where we've had so many good games come out, the fact that we're nominating a DLC just feels especially inappropriate. Obviously this isn't the slight Elden Ring.
No.
The problem is that it is an expansion to a game that came out last year, and it's an award show for games that came out this year.
Yeah.
Like, if we're doing that, like, why isn't any of fucking Alan Wake 2's expansions on here? That's exactly. A good game. Those expansions are amazing.
It's like I would even put Episode Igus on there too. It's like, yeah, maybe it wasn't the strong one, but the story was very good. So I said, everyone just like, yeah, you should throw that on there. Like, it's like they should just have a whole nominee for it.
And if we're just going to pack this in with the regular Game Awards, like, how are you going to justify Elden Ring being there, but all these other great expansions you're not?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, and there's no consistency. And like you said, the only reason it is there is because it's Elden Ring, and people like Elden Ring.
It's one of the biggest games that continues to be one of the biggest games on Twitch, on the YouTube community and everything like that. And yeah, it's the whole reason why.
It is. That is basically my whole issue with the Game Awards too. Like, Jeff Knightley, I think that's how you pronounce his name, right?
Probably.
Jeff Knightley. Okay, it's whatever. But the thing is that it is just always a popularity contest, and that's the thing that just.
And the thing is, if it started out that way, it would have felt fine. But when the first Game Awards happened, it didn't feel like that. It felt like they had actually graded the games based on merit, not so much on popularity. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it feels like over the past, I don't know, 3-4 years, it's gone the exact way that people had always hoped that it wouldn't go.
And it's just sad to see, because whenever I hear like, oh, this is the Game of the Year or whatever this year, and it's like, well, I'm just not sure that means anything anymore.
Well, and it's also, the thing is, it's like, it's different from, like, you always see like Movie of the Year, the Oscars or whatever and stuff like that. It's like there's only a really fine set of movies that are like stand above and beyond the rest. I feel like,
Yeah.
there are good movies, and then there's the ones that are the good movies. Like they're the ones that are the
ones
clear
that
favorites
deserve to be up there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like the thing is, with video games, there are just so many video games that hit so many different genres that there, and nobody has just one kind of taste when it comes to video games. So everyone's perspective of what a good game is different for everyone else and everything like that. It's like, well, you can look at this and you can say, and you can try and break this down objectively, but ultimately what's going to happen is that multiple games are going to be left off type thing because there's just such a wide array. And that's the problem with doing an award show like this or whatever. And it's like, and in the end, their awards, they really mean nothing in the NHL. It's just kind of like, oh, look at whatever. It's like most people, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter to anything or whatever. But it's like, but when you're saying that this is the game of the year, like this, like Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree is the best game of the year, even though it was a DLC. It's like a lot of people wouldn't agree, and I'm one of them, and stuff like that. Whereas like with the Oscars, when they say like whatever movie is the best movie of the year or whatever, it's like I feel like a lot of people will go, yeah, that was really, really, really good, or whatever type thing.
There's just so much more subjectivity when it comes to video games.
Absolutely,
which is the problem.
Yep, and that's the main problem that when it comes to doing a Game Awards is so difficult. So that's why it's like, you can sit here and look at it like, oh, these are the game of the year nominees or whatever, and people will go, well, it missed out on all these other ones. I mean, we've listed a bunch of them as certain categories arose. Yeah. But it's like, and it's just like, and that's how we felt. But, and it's just like, well, these are on my Game Awards. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. If you don't agree with the things or whatever, these awards really don't mean a whole lot. It's like some companies, some publishers will, take them into consideration about and as a measure of success, and that's a problem. But
that is a big problem, yeah.
But in essence, when it comes to the game itself, it doesn't really It doesn't really mean a thing. So that's just my take. Like, that's why I always say is like, oh, here's the objective. I put that in quotations, game of the year, or whatever. So I was just like, but what's that? That's why I always ask people is like, well, what was your game of the year? What would you put as your game for like these things or whatever? Like, what's your game of the year? Honestly, I don't even know what my game of the year is at this point. I'd have to think about that for a bit.
I mean, I played a lot of old games this year, which is my problem.
And that's also another thing. Well, I mean, that's also a thing I always say as well. I oftentimes say is that when you talk about your game of the year, I oftentimes say that it doesn't need to be a game that came out this year. If it's new to what you played and you enjoyed it, it doesn't matter when it came out. It could have came out the last year. It could have came out 10 years ago. It could have came out in the 90s or something like that. And it's just like, if you played something and enjoyed it, I think that could be your game of the year.
My game of the year is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, a game that came out in 1997.
Nice.
That game is just so unbelievably peak. What's your game of the year? I'm curious.
I mean, mine's probably just Persona 3 Reloaded. I just love that story so much.
You see, that game actually came out this year.
I know, it did. And that's why it's just like, man, it's just
bro, why the fuck isn't that anywhere here? It's literally nominated. It's a fucking remake as they nominate fucking Silent Hill 2, as they nominate a DLC, as they nominate Final Fantasy Rebirth.
I know.
Fucking, what the fuck, dude? It's not okay.
I know, but it is what it is. It's like, why do you think that it feels like certain games just have the short end of the stick, and it's oftentimes why I say it's like I don't know exactly how they come up with the nominees or whatever. I get that they ask like a bunch of different outlets and everything like that. It's like, oh, what would you put as this? And they basically just like, what's the most the
looks
consensus,
like the safest answer, basically, yeah,
and stuff like that. But I sit there going just like, but you miss out on so many as a result of that. It's like, if they really wanted to, I mean, in reality, what you could do is just make way more nominees, and I think that would help for when it comes to people just be like, well, where's this game? Where's that game or whatever? It's like add more nominees. It's like we don't need to condense this to 5. We could have like fucking 10, and I think that there would be like, oh, at least like we don't necessarily think this will win, but it could type thing, or at least it was cool to see it nominated type thing. You know?
Well, the problem is that definitely wants the Game Awards to be like the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly.
Which the direction it's going is never going to be the case.
Yeah.
Especially if if the Game Awards are going to continue being like what they were last year, it's just going to be a fucking meme. Oh, if the Game Awards this year are...
Wrap it up.
Basically. If the Game Awards this year go the direction of last year and they have not learned their lessons at all, then I think the Game Awards are kind of cooked, honestly.
I don't know. It's like I could definitely see, like, you know, obviously there's other things that do like Game of the Year nominations or whatever, but nothing is as big as like the Game Awards. I mean, that's why they're called the Game Awards. But like,
that's why it'll probably, you know, still stick. I'm not saying it's going to go away. I'm just saying,
no. It's just like, but it will lose popularity.
Yeah,
as I feel like it has kind of in the past few years. I don't know. It just feels like ever since like COVID, like it kind of just something changed. I don't know if it got like to the point where it was like, oh, we need to put on this like big full scale production that's like top of the line or whatever, and I go, no one cares. No one watching will care.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you need to make it a halfway decent, you know, production,
halfway
but
decent
like
show,
it doesn't need you don't need like the big flashy shit or whatever, stuff like that. I don't know. I'll probably do what I did last year is I won't even watch the Game Awards live. I'll just watch them afterwards. So that way I can skip all the advertising.
I kind of want to watch them live. That way I can laugh at them. But that sounds really bad.
I mean, there was at one point when I was streaming, I would like co-stream it basically, and I was just like, oh, this is so annoying, type deal. And I was just like, guys, I'm done. I was like, I didn't care to do that anymore.
I like how we skipped over most anticipated because we both.
Oh yeah, I forgot we came back. Or I was gonna come back to that. Hey, look, it's GTA 6. I would have guessed.
Yeah. Why nominate anything else?
Why even fucking bother?
It's crazy that on a board that has Metroid Prime 4 on it, I'm like, yeah, no, it still stands no chance to Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, Ghost of Yotai, GTA 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Wow, who would have guessed that GTA 6 would win? Just who would have guessed? And I guarantee when that game comes out next year, whether or not it's good or not, it will win Game of the Year next year. So don't even fucking bother.
It is gonna make an upsetting amount of money too.
I mean, we've talked about how it will make an upsetting amount of money, and it will probably change the AAA pricing scheme going forward for years.
Are they charging $80 for it?
Who knows what they'll charge for it or whatever, but it'll probably be some ridiculous amount that, well, oftentimes, like whether or not it would be 100, whether or not it would be 80, whether or not anything will come about this or whatever. But it's like, in essence, in my mind, it's probably going to charge like over the 70 or whatever, and will probably change AAA entirely when it comes to their pricing.
Really hope not. I don't need video games to become more expensive, dude. I just don't.
No one needs that.
So at $70 is already a hefty price to pay for most new games. And can I just say that I think that a lot of game companies are kind of coming to the conclusion that not a lot of people are willing to drop $70 on a new game like every month or two.
And that's why I say that GTA 6 will fuck that up. I think you're right. I think publishers are getting the idea that maybe we shouldn't be charging so much or whatever. Maybe we could scale games back, charge less, and it will sell more, and we'll be able to make more money, and people will play more often as a result of that. Whereas then GTA 6 will come in. This is a big, like, massive, full-scale game that was, like, 10-plus years in the making type thing. And then, you know, it's like, here we're going to charge $100+. They're going to make mucho bucks and then just going to fuck everything into the ground.
God damn it. Rockstar, can you just do the entire industry a favor and not fucking do that, please? Yeah. Oh my god. That's going to be...
Yeah, it'll be time.
Yeah, no. I would hope that...
I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I'm going to say that right now. I hope I'm wrong about that. But, like...
I hope that they look at like the industry trends and like the people that are in the industry, like publishers and stuff, that they look at industry trends and understand like GTA is the outlier. Like they're the one franchise that can do that.
But they're also going to look at it as like, well, why can't we make our own GTA 6 type thing? Why can't we have this big, huge franchise that's like just as big? And I go, well, because you're not GTA. Like, it wasn't just like that all of a sudden GTA came out of nowhere and it was just like, oh, everyone was so excited. I'm like, there are 5 games prior to that were all had quality of why people really are excited for this game and why they will spend the extra money as a result of it. It wasn't just like Concord just jumped out of nowhere and was like, oh, this is going to be the next GTA or Star Wars or whatever. And then they go, oh, well, we overshot this by a lot.
Yeah, almost nothing can do what GTA has done. That's just the sad fact of reality.
Yep.
If Ubisoft tries and takes a hint from that, then they are officially cooked. I don't think they recover if they try charging. If like for Assassin's Creed Hex or whatever it's called, they try charging like $80 to $100 for. Oh yeah, they're cooked. They're never gonna get away with that.
Oh yeah. Especially with, like, apparently AC Shadows, like, pre-orders have not been to Ubisoft standards. I'm like, I guarantee you the next game is probably not going to do that much better. So
I mean, especially if they raise prices and shit.
Yeah, Ubisoft and then it's just like, oh, it's like, instead of $70, it's going to be $80 because the cost of making games has gone up. And I'm like, well, at the same point, I don't doubt that. You also don't need to make the game fucking massive and take 10+ years to make it.
Yeah. Ubisoft is just in a weird spot. They're going to be bought by Microsoft. It's fine.
Hey, speaking of being bought by Microsoft, but it's not actually Microsoft, it's Sony.
I mean, real quick before I move on, I think that's the rising prices of video games, and if GTA 6 does make things worse, I think that'll just make more and more people. That's going to be a great thing for Microsoft because that's going to bring more and more people into Game Pass, I think.
Well, in that point, that it's just like I guarantee you, like, oh, it's like will be $80 for Assassin's Creed Hex or whatever, but it's like, but you could also sign up for Ubisoft Plus, and then it's only $15 a month.
Hey.
And then all of a sudden everyone's just pushing their subscription thing, and you go, God, just what we all needed, more subscriptions.
Yeah, no. We've already talked like this is where the industry is going.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not surprising where...
Yeah, we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah. Both movies and video games in the next couple years, nobody's going to own anything.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Entertainment and video games, like, what is owning things anymore? Owning things is when you don't want it, when you're going to charge us a ridiculous amount, and we go, I'll just pirate this, and they go, wait, don't do that, and I'm like, well, but you were not allowed us to do that, so we're just going to pirate it because if we can't own it, then we're not stealing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on. Exactly. Moving on to what I was segueing into is that Sony's looking to buy the From Software's parent company, which I forgot. It was like the... Oh, God. What is that?
I can't pronounce that either, so good luck to
it's
that.
like Kadokawa Corporation. Kadawa?
Kadakawa?
Sure. Probably fucked it up, but, it is what it is. So they're looking to buy the corporation that they're basically the parent company from Software, which is more than just from Software, but it's probably one of the main pieces they're going for in this whole thing.
Yeah, that and Sony's continued monopoly on the Western, anime industry.
Yeah, there's that too.
Can I just say, let's not let Sony do this. We let Microsoft get away with purchasing Activision, which was probably a mistake in hindsight.
It probably was.
There are so many downsides to this, especially considering, like, FromSoft is not going to just, go over peacefully. They're going to charge a pretty high stake in order to be bought by a company like Sony, especially considering their last game was, fucking Elden Ring and how popular that game.
The thing is they're not even going from Software. They're going for their parent company, which, they don't. It's like, in essence, From Software has no stake in that matter. It's like, while it's their parent company, they can't really say whether or not it was like, hey, don't do this because Sony or whatever is going to ruin everything or whatever. It's like,
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying they're going to charge a lot, and then Sony's going to not realize what a massive debt ceiling they have until after it's too late. That's my worry. So I'm not arguing like From Software is going to,
Oh, you're just saying it's going to be so expensive that it's like not even going to be worth it.
I'm not saying like Sony's going to come in and ruin it. I'm not saying like FromSoft is telling their parent company, well, don't sell Sony, they're going to ruin it. My argument is I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Like Sony's obviously a huge company. I'm not sure if their wallets are big enough to buy out a company like the parent company of FromSoft, because I have to imagine that they're charging like several $1 billion for that company, right?
It's got to be. I mean, it says even just from last year, revenue was for the parent company was 1.7 billion. So it's like the fact is I mean, let's even say that was probably an up year just from like, not even just like all the other stuff they do or whatever, but it's just like even like from Elden Ring, I assume was probably big with the big Shadow of the Earth Tree DLC. So it's just like that probably was a pretty penny for them. So it's like still making a revenue of like 1.7 billion is a lot of money, bro.
It's not going to be like the Bungie acquisition. This is a much bigger deal.
This will be a much bigger deal than Bungie was.
And considering like all of PlayStation's recent failures and the fact that their game lineup right now is not too impressive, I am not sure that this is. I'm not sure this is the risk that they want to be taking. That's all I'm putting out there. Like this just seems like, I don't know.
Well, and then you got the other thing that could potentially be bad as well, is like the idea that Souls games would be only for the PlayStation or whatever. It's like being like locking behind exclusivity, which is something that will always continue to be a thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like, oh, they announced Dark Souls 4 or something like that, and it's like it'll be PS5 exclusive.
Man, if they don't release that game on the PC simultaneously, people will crucify them.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way they could get away with that.
Yeah. And kind of what you were saying as well is just like, oh, this this company also has a good amount of the Western anime as well, a part of that, and it's just like, and considering how much Sony already has invested into that, it's like, yeah, that could be a major issue.
That they already own Crunchyroll and Funimation, and this is just like another large sector that they'd be getting control of.
And all of a sudden they have the anime market locked up, and then they just start charging gratuitous amount. And I'm just gonna go, no.
Yeah.
So
it's,
who knows how much the deal was for? There's no other. The only rumor is that they were in talks with one another at this moment. But like,
we should clarify that the purchase hasn't gone through yet.
No, there is no deal that we know of on the table. It's just that they are in talks for being sold to Sony at the moment.
Which is weird. I'm wondering why they, like, is Sony just... that's another reason why I'm thinking, like, is this really, like, going to be, like, financially worth it for Sony? Because, like, it's like, that company is in a good spot right now, from what I can tell. They must be doing. I'm sure they're doing just fine after Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh, absolutely.
So, so I'm curious as to like, did Sony just come to them with like some ridiculous offer? And if they did, how much like of Sony's spare cash are they spending on this? And like, how is this going to affect the rest of their studios, basically? Because we know from the Activision purchase, like, Microsoft went on and on being like, this purchase isn't going to affect, the rest of Microsoft or whatever. Everyone's going to be just fine. And, that was a fucking lie. I don't know. I just don't know. It's one of those things where I really just have to see things play out, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say, like, anything crazy. I was just, like, reading the report. Like, the original report that didn't announce that they were in talks, and it's like, doesn't say that they're like, were having, like, financial problems or anything like that. It's just, like, that, I guess Sony just came and was like, hey, it's like, if you were to sell, how much would you want to sell for, type thing.
And obviously, like, consolidation is bad and we shouldn't be cheering for it. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. It is concerning, though. It's like, it
we already talked, like, at the beginning of the podcast, the human race is cooked. Like, not even considering the games industry.
Yeah.
So, everything's fucked, everything's bad all of the time, and,
Giyu's not owning anything, and then, stuff like that. And, have fun in the late stage capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Did they even announce, is there, like, a date that they announced for? Oh, Game Awards will be live streamed on December 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. December 12th, then. So a little less than a month.
Okay.
Thursday night. Them bastards. All right. Well, what do you think? Should we call it there?
I think so. What are we, an hour and a half in? Okay.
Yeah, about hour 25, hour and a half. So, thank y'all so much for listening to us ramble on about video games, because this is heavy video games with the nominations for the Game Awards and whatever. And then the report for today that Sony's, looking to buy all of everything. So, be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow any of the links that we have below the show or below the YouTube channel, whatever you're listening or watching to. And yes, we are on I do post this onto YouTube, so you can see our faces and everything like that. If I, was actually good at editing, I would probably put in, like, other pictures, but I don't because I'm lazy. But anyway, yeah, thank y'all for listening, and we will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.